Today we've been joined by potential AFLW draftee from South Australia, Grace Martin. Grace, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Cooper.
No worries. Sorry, continue.
Really looking forward to it.
That's good. No worries. So tell us a bit about yourself, what type of player you are and what got you into footy.
So I started at Smosh. I started around 2017, I think. I'm pretty sure. I'm a small player, not very tall. I'm focusing a lot on my fundamentals a lot more and my speed, so that's hopefully becoming my game.
That's good. Now, if you were to describe yourself, I from a reliable source, you may know who it is when I say this. So this person described you as an athletic player who's fast and you try to get the best out of each other and you have a kick with this person. Would you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, Jemma Charity, yeah.
That's what we just recently had on. So, yeah, so would you say you're more of a forward, a bit of mid, a bit of both?
Well, I've mainly only played a bit of forward, high forward, being like a crumbing role, and then a bit of mid. But I'm hoping that I can play a few different positions this year, including the back line and definitely more midfield.
That's good. So obviously you play for the Woodville West Torrens and represented South Australia in the under 18 championships, like Jemma did as a bottom major. How's the time at the Eagles been so far for you?
My time at Eagles has been really good. I feel like now I'm in my third season. I know what to expect, and like obviously continuing to have high expectations. But I don't know, just not putting so much pressure on myself and kind of trying to enjoy it as well while having fun. Yeah,
that's good. So obviously you played it in the under 18 championships for South Australia as well as a bottom major. What do you get out of it playing some games last year now in 2023 to go ahead into this year and hopefully represent South Australia again, considering you were in there as a bottom major?
I think as a bottom major, it was because the draft, the girls in their draft year last year, they were so good. So It was hard to be selected into the team. So I got to play one game, and I'm really glad I did, because I was like, wow, I've got a lot to learn, a lot to work towards. If I want to be the best, get better. I just tried to learn a lot of the girls in their draft year, especially Lauren Goody, who also was at Eagles as well, who's very professional.
So you mentioned Loz and Goody and there's some others as well. How beneficial was it for you to, again, not only to represent South Australia as a bottom major, but to play alongside those girls who were basically the top three picks this year? Goody was, if they're in an open pool, you'd have Loz and you'd have Goody, Piper, Window as well, and a few other the SA girls in that top 10 category as well. So you're playing not only with the best of the best, but the best in the South Australian team alone.
Definitely, yeah. I just think SA footies is so good. Our sample league, sample W, it's just growing. In my first season, I was 15, so I've just come from local and then straight into sample. So there was a massive jump, and I just think, the way we're going with AFLW and sample W, we're going to get better and better each year. And I think the professionalism is getting up there, especially with being paid next year for some of the athletes as well.
Yeah, good. So how do you approach this year? Obviously, last year was obviously a bit different being a bottom major. And do you feel like any added pressure this year, considering with Jemma, that as a bottom major in the championship side, to have that pressure to kind of get in that position again?
Yes, I feel like there is a little bit of a pressure, but if anything, I kind of just want to embrace it. Don't put too much pressure on myself as well, but there is going to be pressure, and that's going to be a challenge as well. But it's just a matter of how I deal with it, and go with the flow, to be honest. But making sure I'm putting the effort in.
So what are some goals you kind of set for yourself this year, and just any goals in particular you want to set out for this year?
This year I just really want to play consistent footy. Probably not get too critical and just move on. That's something I've been working on training, and it's just been a lot better. yeah, a few goals is probably like playing all of the state games and pushing into the league side at Eagles. So yeah, just consistent footy is a big goal, and obviously at the end of the season towards December, I don't know, the big goal is getting
Yeah.
drafted, but that's just to be honest. But yeah,
Yeah.
obviously drafted would be amazing and unreal, but yeah.
That's good. Have you been given any advice by anyone, whether that's an AFLW player, coaches, or any AFL people that have kind of come along at any of the trainings or any of the state championship trainings and games, that if you need any advice how to handle this year's period? Because I suppose some of your friends that you just mentioned, Loz and Goody, have now technically been through that start of that phase as well.
Yeah, one person, Daniel Menzel, I'm not sure if you know who that is.
I know Daniel. Yep.
Geelong. He's been a bit of a mentor for me because I've done some personal work with him, and I don't know, he hasn't given me advice into how to deal with it, but just like changing my mindset of how I can deal with certain things, like in the game situation field. And obviously a few girls at Eagles, like Leah Cutting, we were talking about it a while ago, and she was like, just embrace it, you've got it, like, yeah.
This was fair. And you mentioned Dan Menzel too. Obviously, he had a treacherous run of ACL injuries, as you'll fully be aware. Then obviously playing at the Woodville West Torrens as well. And then I think he retired at the end of this year, I believe. But he had a good career in the AFL outside of those ACL injuries. And it shows the dedication and commitment he had, and to keep pushing through these injuries. And it's a really good advice for anyone going through long-term injuries to keep pushing through it, because Dan done it 5 times, I think it was. And then obviously other injuries around the ACLs.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think like a massive role model for the football. What's it called? The football. Yeah, just league, and like he's just been such a good mentor for me. Yeah, I've done work with him. Like I feel like I've improved and become more confident with my football.
That's good.
But yeah, no, I definitely try to learn off him and what he used to do when he was an AFL list, or like you said, it was as well.
For sure. Who'd you grow up barracking for?
Port Adelaide, yeah.
Okay, Port Adelaide. How did you feel that they went in the men's and women's comps this year? And it might sound like a dumb question, but would you love to play for the Power in the women's competition, hopefully in the future?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like that's a no-brainer. Like I would love to play for Port, but I'd just be to get drafted to any club, to be honest. But yeah, playing for the club I've barracked for would be amazing. But yeah, I don't know, just see what happens. But Port this year for the men's, I thought they did really good, and then there was just a few hiccups, and then resulted in unfortunate results. But yeah, hopefully they can find some consistent good footy, and yeah, just get the wins on the board. And the females pretty similar, like just get the wins on the boards, continuing to improve. Like we've seen that with like a few players as well. Abby Dowrick, also played at Eagles. She's improved so much, and well, she's always been great. But her on the AFL list at Port, she's massive. Yeah.
Probably about standout mid for them too, Abby Dowrick this year. And then now, obviously, you mentioned some good mates as well, all joining the Power just coincidentally. You got obviously Liz, and you got Goody, Molly Brooksby, Alyssa Brook, all joining from South Australia. Some of the names I mentioned before, all playing for that one side. And I feel they could be a side that could shoot up a little bit further than people may expect. They didn't have the best ladder position this year, but with those names in particular coming in, if you traded in place or Kirsty Lamb as well, they could actually do pretty well.
Yeah, I reckon so too. Like that, those young girls, people say, "Oh, they're too young," but they put anything against them, they will do it. Like they will shine. They will show their role and who they are.
Absolutely will. And obviously, I forgot to also mention Piper Winter as well, just casually another top pick that they got as well. So that's so many good names as well that they've got there. What would you say, we kind of mentioned it a little bit before, but what would you say some of your strengths as a footballer for yourself personally?
I reckon my ground balls are probably one of my strengths, my speed. My kicking is continuing to improve. I've been practicing on my left, so I'm just trying to use that more in a game. But yeah, No, just overall fundamental. Obviously, my contested marking is an area for improvement, and my overall body size is an area to improve as well. My strength, yeah.
So of the draftees that were selected, it doesn't necessarily have to be any of the ones that went to Port, but which draftee are you most excited about to see how they go this year and future years ahead?
Ooh, I reckon Poppy Scholes, like her sister Matilda Scholes, like she's so good, very athletic. Yeah, I reckon she'll go up there in the draft, and I just think, yeah, she's such a good person as well. So yeah, I'm close. I'm friends with her through state as well. So yeah, it'd be really exciting to see her go high up in the draft.
Sure. Who would you say is some of your favourite teammates at the Eagles or any of the SA teams you've been a part of?
At Eagles, probably Poppy Geekers. She's a new player. She's from the NT. Me and her bonded really quickly, and she's just, yeah, really good. She's got some talent, and I hope she can get recognised because she will. Like, she'll show what she's got, and yeah, I don't know. There's obviously heaps of people I love at Eagles, like Claudia O'Neill, Bianca Portaro. Heaps of them, like Renee Forth as well, yeah.
Now, when Jemma told me that she's made the move from the Eagles to North Adelaide, how did you take the news when she mentioned that to you?
I was a bit shocked actually because I thought like she was really excited about Eagles, and I was like, oh, okay. But like at the end of the day, I'm just going to support her no matter what. It will be when we play against her, but yeah, because we're like obviously go to school together, and like we've had 2 seasons at Eagles, and now she's at North. So yeah, that was a bit weird, but yeah.
What AFL or AFLW player comparison would you best describe yourself for the type of player or a similar style at least?
Neve Kelly maybe from Crows, like so amazing. Like, I'm nowhere near her, but that's someone who I'd aspire to be and like play like. Yeah, I think she's just got the speed. Yeah, she's just so agile, and I just want to play like that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Neve had a terrific year, and I think she was named as an All-Australian winger, and she really did deserve it. I've had her on as well and gotten to know her a little bit as well, and she's a very good player. And even in that prelim where they just lost to North Melbourne in the AFLW prelim, she stepped up for them. I think she probably had at least 10 possessions in that last quarter when they were fighting in the end, and she's a really good wingman, and that's a good person to model your game off as well. Any nicknames you get given at the club that you like or dislike?
Oh, nah, just Gracie, to be honest. Like, Gina,
Nice to
random one. Yeah, a few people. Yeah. I don't know, Grace really. Can't really make too much nickname Grace, so.
Very true. Sometimes it's a good thing. Any coaches' pets at any of the teams you've been a part of?
Yeah, there's obviously a few in every team, but I don't really want to name one. But yeah.
Fair enough.
That's just always going to happen in any footy team. Like, coaches are going to have a favourite. Well, they might not say it, but I don't know.
I agree, and it's fair. Some people like not to name. Some like doing it. And I mean, anyone in general that says there is none is there. As you said, there's always some, so they're lying. Any outside of footy interests that you have?
I don't know. I just like being with friends. Probably camping. I love the beach. I used to play basketball as well, and soccer. So I do like watching those sports as well. Yeah, that's about it.
How'd you go at playing basketball and soccer? Any good?
Soccer I was alright. I had to stop it because of footy, and I also did as well. But yeah, I like soccer, but then basketball I was too short.
Now, this is just something I literally thought off the top of my head with soccer, and I've got a fair few people that love soccer, that love to pump it up, and I want to see what you say to this. Do soccer players in any code, not just when you played, but watching in A-League, Premier League, anything, you feel that they take a dive too easily, too much?
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't say I'm like a mega soccer fan, but like Yeah, they definitely do. Sometimes I'm like, oh, just get up, whatever, like move on. But obviously, playing footy, like when you play footy, it's like a tough game. So when I just see like something like a trip, I'm like, oh, I'll just get up. But
No,
yeah,
milk and freeze.
a few calls that just need to toughen up, to be honest.
It's exactly right. Well said. Well done,
Yeah.
Grace. Any favorite TV shows or movies?
I don't watch too much TV, to be honest. But I do like Outer Banks. I've watched that. Movies. Oh, Grown Ups. I love watching that when I was younger. I know that's so random, but I love watching that when I was like a few years ago. But yeah.
That's good. Well, where was I? What do you feel is the best individual game you've ever played that's kind of getting you noticed to where you are right now? That strikes out to you. That's the game that's got you recognised.
I reckon we just had an internal trial game just before Christmas with State. And I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but I felt like I finally felt like I was playing footy and I wasn't getting in my head. And I don't know, like I just felt comfortable and like, yeah, probably happy where my mindset was. And then it just proved in my performance that was one of the better ones. So, yeah.
That's good. What now? Obviously, playing up forward. What would you say is the best goal you've ever kicked? And is it any particular type of goal in particular that stands out?
I haven't kicked too many goals actually. I've been like a little bit of a crummer, so I'm always giving hands off, but I don't mind that either.
Yeah.
It was one game. Oh, it was against Glenelg. It was really random. Like I got over the back, and I just like I played against Glenelg last year, and it was just such a random goal. And I don't know, it just probably one of the better ones. But like I said, I haven't kicked too many goals with Eagles, so
Fair enough.
yeah.
If
I
you
don't
were
have
to, sorry, go on.
don't have many to choose from.
Fair enough. Now, hypothetically, then, if you were able to choose the perfect type of goal you could get, whether it's a torp, a check side, opposite foot, a 50-meter shot after the siren from wherever, whatever it is, what would you select?
Like after the siren.
Oh no, like so hypothetically, if you were able
Oh,
to describe what goal of the year contender, I suppose you would like to do, which one would you pick?
I don't know if I'd like to do it, but probably a snap around goals, like after siren. Like I don't know if someone was to get that in, like that'd be just so cool. But for myself, probably just after the siren, I reckon. Yeah,
Which was
just
so now this. Sorry,
just a shot at goal. Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
no, it's all right. There might be like a second delay, so that's all right. Mark or goal of the year, which one would you rather do?
Goal of the year, definitely.
Any particular reason, or is it just for the reasons you just basically mentioned?
Nah. I just think it's better than a mark. I don't know. Obviously
I
marks,
agree.
but there's a few goals that are a fluke, and I don't know. Just yeah, I reckon goal of the year. Yeah.
Sweet. Who would you say is the best player in the AFLW competition in general? Not necessarily this year, but it's so even really to pick a clear standout. I suppose you got Monconti, Jazz Garner, Ash Riddell, Ebony Marinoff, Laura Garner. There's so many players to pick from. Who would you put in that category?
Probably Bon Conti, and can I say another one?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Charlie Rowbottom. Yeah.
Yes, very underrated. And I remember a while ago someone mentioned Charlie Robot, and I think she's only 20, I think, if not close to it. And she's got a long future ahead of her. Where some of those other girls that I mentioned, not old, but much older than her, so she's got a lot more time on her side, and could be a one for the future. And she didn't, but she should have polled a lot better in the BNF vote count on the
Yeah.
night when Mon won. Which I think she only got like 8 votes, which I thought was ridiculous, but whatever.
She had a few games like high disposals. Yeah, I'm not too sure, but
Yeah, she
yeah, no, I
did.
watched a
Very
little bit of
confusing.
very.
Who loves the limelight, the attention at the camera? The Eagles or any team you've been a part of, and they know exactly where the camera is or whatever, and they just know to exaggerate something or to just know when it's around.
Probably Marley Fika actually. I don't know. As soon as she sees the camera, she's like, "Yeah, get in, everyone!" But yeah, Yeah.
That's fair. If you could poach now, this is a hypothetical question. So you're Barry for Port. So let's just say in this example that you're hypothetically playing at Port Adelaide. If you could poach any player or players from another club to join Port Adelaide in the AFLW, who would you poach and why? Or want to poach and why? It can be as unrealistic as you want.
Probably Bonnie Too Good in the forward line. She's just got great hands, and I feel like Port maybe need a bit of a key target in there who's very strong with their hands and kicking goals as well. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's a very good player, Bonnie Too, and probably I wouldn't say underrated, but not talked about as much as those top 5-10 names do. I feel that she should be in that conversation as well, considering the style that she plays and can push through the middle. And as mainly playing up forward, getting around 20 possessions a game is pretty bloody impressive, if you ask me.
Yeah.
What's something someone does at the club that you can't stand, whether it's scaring people, jumping out of a corner, out of a bin, anything like that in particular?
Oh gosh, I can't think.
That's sometimes a good thing if you can't think of anything for that.
Yeah. No, not really. I don't actually know. Probably when they bounce the footies on the concrete.
Okay,
Of it, but I'm just like, we need to freshen the footies up.
true. Not potentially damage it in some way.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've heard that one, but that's an interesting one as well.
Yeah.
Who would you say is the toughest opponent you've ever had to match up on? So maybe it might have been in that South Australia representative game in the championships.
It's tricky because there was a one games where I can't.
Or either in that game or any game for the Eagles.
Probably Christy Harvey because she's like a bigger body. Yeah, she's just really strong marking. Yeah, that's probably Christy Harvey.
So in that championship game for South Australia, do you remember who you faced?
Yeah. I'm not good with names, but from the other team, Western Australia. But
At WA.
yeah, WA. Zippy Fish. Is her name? Zippy?
It might
Yeah.
be. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah.
I just remember there was one time where I missed a tackle and I was like, and I got so angry because she was just so fast and so clean with the footy. So yeah, probably her. But yeah.
Did you play that in Adelaide or was that in Perth?
That was in Perth, yeah.
Okay, so how was that week for you? How was the lead up into knowing that you're going to play, and how did you find out that you were playing that game first off, and then how did you feel from that moment being told you're playing? How was the nerves heading into it compared to how you came out of it?
Well, we didn't get told up until I reckon 3 days before we had to go, so It was a bit of wait and see, and I wasn't feeling too confident at all. And then I got chosen, and then I was like, oh my god, what? And then I think once I left Perth, the nerves started hitting, and then when we arrived at the ground, I was like, oh my god, I have to do this. Like, oh my god, what is going on? But I think once I warmed up and got on the field, I was fine. Yeah,
it's good. Well, that's a good thing. And so speaking of interstate trips, this actually was going to be my next question. Coincidentally, are you a fan of interstate trips?
Yeah. I mean, because Perth was such a long flight from Adelaide.
Yes.
Well, longer flight, sorry.
Yeah.
I think it's on the way back, your body just because you've just played a game, and that game we played, we didn't have time to have a shower, we went straight to the airport. So I just felt so gross and so heavy, but it's probably on the way back, not there. Yeah.
That's fair. Who's some teammates you've been impressed by that kind of fly under the radar that don't get talked about as much that probably really should?
Poppy Geekers. She's new to Sample Footy, obviously played up in the NT, I think for St. Mary's, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Fair enough. We've got a few more questions for you, so appreciate coming on, Grace. If you had any AFL or AFLW player interactions personally as a fan or as a player that you've had with a player, and if you do, any to share?
Yeah, probably like at Eagles, I've had Renee Forth, who used to play for the Giants and Crows. She's been really good for me. Yeah, I don't know. She's just been a little bit of a mentor while a teammate for me. Yeah,
That's
someone
good.
to learn.
That's fair. I actually remember funny, so I'm sure you probably know, Gemma's probably told you this. She mentioned with her one that she was at work and a bunch of, I think it was Adelaide players, I think she said, she wasn't
Oh,
100% sure. They came to
yeah.
her work and she went back to tell the manager about or something about it, that there's players there. And I said to her, you probably put in a hard spotty because you want to talk to them and like, do you do your job or do you fangirl in that moment? What would you do in that scenario if that happened?
If all of them came in.
Yeah, so hypothetically you're at work and players or AFL or AFLW, whatever one came in, how would you react to it in Gemma's case, how she described it?
I reckon I would actually work. Like, I would just want to. I'd be so nervous, but like obviously
Okay.
I'd think working, but I would be like, I have to be good at my job, so then they'll remember me or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very fair. Just one more question, so really appreciate. Oh, that's two more. What's some fun facts about you that people don't know too much about, or at all?
I've got two older brothers. I don't think I tell people and they're like, "Oh, what? Really?" So that's probably how I've grown up to have a bit of a fire in the belly and white line fever. To be honest, like I don't know. We used to just play whatever sport, and I'd be the kid just get up, you're right. But yeah, no, they definitely helped me become tough.
Well, that's it's a good thing, and then maybe at the time when it's happening, it's like obviously really annoying. But if
Yeah.
it helps you get to where you are, and that's a bonus on them and their end helping you, and then your end for credit in the credit to deal with that, and then get to where you want to get to. So I got one more question. We appreciate you coming on. What is now obviously in the men's and women competition, it's pretty self-explanatory that the Brownlow or whatever award you want to it's called. All the votes are generally towards midfielders, and then the Coleman's obviously directed towards forwards. And even ruckman these days get recognised in Brownlow votes as well. Do you feel that the defenders should officially have their own title, whatever award title you want to call it, but should they have their own award as well for defenders?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a bit of a bias voting going on with the midfield because that's where all the umpires are going to see them. And yeah, definitely. Even for the forwards as well. Like you look at Jeremy Cameron last season, he was playing. I think he got injured, but he was bad, and he just got robbed off because he was a forward.
Yeah, he didn't get many votes. I definitely was not over 10. I don't know the exact number. It might have been 6, 8 at best. So yeah, that's very true as well. Grace, I really appreciate you coming on. All the best in the draft. You hopefully do well for the championships, and for the Eagles as well. So, and hopefully at the end of the year, we hear that you're at an AFLW club. So appreciate you coming on, Grace.
Thank you. Thanks, Cooper, for having me. Thank you.
Nice, thanks.